Welcome to this week's episode of 101 Sports The Tape Deck, where we take a look forward and a look back at the things that are happening in the wonderful world of sports. I'm Matt Dowdle. Now, let's take a step back to earlier today and take a look at the 1 o'clock games in the NFL. Week 12 in the NFL. Kansas City trying to get that 10th win of the season after losing last week at Denver. Alex Smith taking the field. We're already late in the fourth quarter when he is looking, and he finds Dwayne Bowe fighting off a defender in the end zone, puts them up, but Phillip Rivers and company would not be denied, finding the deep ball and the touchdown to go up on the Chiefs, handing them their second consecutive loss in 2 weeks. Green Bay versus Minnesota. It is cold in Green Bay, but these fans don't care. It's a crazy day. Green Bay trying to do well, but we're already in overtime. Green Bay got a field goal on their first drive. It's late, though, and Minnesota almost gets the win. Can't bring it in. They get a field goal at the end of the drive. Now we're in the last couple seconds of overtime, and, big play potential. Can they get the win? No, they cannot. It is a tie. Green Bay and Minnesota come out 26-26. Carolina versus Miami. Carolina's been on a hot streak as of late, trying to get win number 8 behind Cam Newton and the rest of the Panthers squad, but Ryan and Tannehill said, not so fast. Well, maybe really fast when you have Mike Wallace, and he launches one deep. Wallace brings it in. Touchdown. Miami goes up 7-3 in the first. But Cam, with less than a minute left in the fourth quarter, hits Greg Olsen in the corner of the end zone. Panthers get the win, get Tampa Bay next week. New York Jets versus the Baltimore Ravens. Jets trying to hold on to that wild card spot, and Flacco and the reigning Super Bowl champions trying to gain some ground. Right here, Flacco steps back in the pocket, throws one deep to Jacoby Jones, who, yes, he brings it in against 2 defenders, takes it all the way to the house. The one touchdown of the day. A lot of other field goals. Now Geno Smith trying to make some sort of comeback, but this was the story of his day. Interceptions, not very good. Baltimore wins 19-3. Pittsburgh versus Cleveland. Both teams 4-6. One team trying to come out on top. Mike Tomlin hopes it's he and the Steelers. Ben Roethlisberger on their own 41 throws it up to Antonio Brown. Can he bring it in? Well, when you're wide open, yeah, he'll bring it in. Steelers get the win 27-11, go to 5-6 to get Baltimore next week. Chicago versus St. Louis. Chicago trying to get the win here. It's the Long brothers playing against each other. Exciting brotherly rivalry. But Tavon Austin made this game all about him. Spins behind the line, takes it back for a 60-plus yard touchdown, putting St. Louis up early. And, Chicago could never really recover. St. Louis wins 42-21. Tampa Bay versus Detroit. Tampa Bay looking for their third straight win, while Detroit is trying to get a win because Chicago lost. And Mike Glennon, he made it difficult for him, finding Tyquan Underwood open here, who then stiff arms the defender, takes it 85 yards to the house, puts Tampa Bay up 24-21. Mix that with Matt Stafford, having kind of a rough day here, throwing his fourth interception of the day. Tampa gets their third consecutive win. They're now 3-8 going against the tough Carolina Panthers next week. Jacksonville versus Houston. This game is not very exciting, but good news, Coach Kubiak is back, although he is upstairs and not on the field. However, that wasn't enough for the Texans as Maurice Jones-Drew takes this one into the end zone. In case Keenum throws it, bobbled, and it's an interception. Jacksonville gets the win 13-6. All right, now that we've taken a look at the NFL and the 1 o'clock games, let's take a step back and look at college football. Baylor just got pulverized by Oklahoma State. They're out of the national title hopefuls. They're gone. And that leaves us with 3 teams in the top 3 who are undefeated. Florida State, Ohio State, and, of course, number 1, Alabama. Right there at 4 is Auburn, and they have 1 loss. And next week, guess who they're playing? Alabama. Now, I personally think Alabama will come out on top. Don't really need to explain why, just personal prediction. But what if Auburn were to win? What does that mean for Auburn? And what's that mean for Ohio State? Well, personally, we'll start positive here. I think that means Auburn should have a shot to go to the title game. I think they should have a shot to go against Florida State. Why? Because they played in the SEC, came out with only 1 loss, and beat the team that's won 3 of the last 4 national championships. I think that's reason enough for the Tigers to deserve a shot. But what about poor Ohio State? Assuming they beat Michigan, assuming they beat Michigan State, that leaves them completely undefeated. Should they have a shot? No, they should not. Big Ten is not very good. And you know what? It's one of the curses of college football. I cannot wait for the playoff system to get here any sooner because maybe Ohio State is the best team in the country. And frankly, they, to me, still don't deserve a shot just because they're not in the SEC and they haven't had that competitive of a schedule. The 14 playoff and maybe hopefully an 18 playoff cannot get here any sooner. The moral of the story is, though, if Auburn were to win, they do deserve a shot in the finals. against Florida State, and I wish them the best of luck. Ohio State, I am sorry, but I don't think you deserve it. Your teams are a lot easier to play, and it's a lot easier to go undefeated. This is not saying that you're not the number one team in the country. It's just saying that your level of competition does not give me enough evidence to support that. Now, away from college football, and let's go to the NBA. Derrick Rose just suffered his second knee injury in 2 years. This one, he tore his right knee's meniscus just after tearing his left knee's ACL. That's terrible news for the Bulls, and that's, I guess, the first thing that we all come to mind. Now, what's this mean for the Bulls? Well, they lose their all-star point guard, the face of their franchise, in a complete, probably top 5 game changer in the NBA, and that's terrible. A year ago, they kind of limped themselves in the playoffs and performed decently considering the cast that they were playing with. But this year was supposed to be their rebound year, and that's probably the biggest problem for the Bulls. They were coming to this year thinking, hey, this is our time. It's our time to step up to be on that level of Indiana, even more so on that level of Miami, and take the East by storm and hopefully come away with an NBA championship. This was supposed to bring back those feelings that Chicago had during the Pippen-Jordan era. Not saying Derrick Rose is Michael Jordan, but I'm saying the Bulls had a championship contender when he was on the court, and without him, that's gone. Granted, he still may be able to come back. Blake Griffin just suffered this sort of injury, and he's playing now. Rose may be able to be back by the later end of the season, but at that point, they may be a low enough seed that, frankly, it may not help much. And I wish him luck. I do. I want him to come back and play hard and help maybe revive this Bulls team, because, frankly, this injury to me, what it does most is it hurts the NBA. The NBA is currently sitting third fiddle behind baseball and football in the United States. And as an NBA fan, I hate to see that. And it's been great the last few years seeing the big three come together. Miami's rise to stardom and other teams. Kevin Durant come into play. Now James Harden in Houston. It's been exciting stuff to see. And this year, Stephen A. Smith said it's the biggest year in the NBA that he's seen in 20 years. And I believe it. Everyone believes it. You had a lot of competition. You had a lot of star power spread around the league. And it was going to be something remarkable to watch. And with Derrick Rose out, that takes a shot against it. So you know what? I do wish him the best, because for me, as a Bulls person, as an NBA person, and as a lover of basketball as a whole, I want him back in the league playing at his 110%, so this year can maybe end at such an exciting level and go beyond the expectations that it started with. Cinderella story? Maybe. We'll see what happens. Now, finally, let's take a look ahead to tonight at the Sunday night game between the Broncos and the Patriots in Foxborough. Peyton Manning and company just beat the Chiefs, dished out their first loss, which, by the way, they lost another one today. Chiefs, reason to worry? Maybe, who knows? But Peyton Manning dished out their first loss. Can he go into Foxborough and win Brady Manning Bowl number 14? Personally, I say yes. The offensive firepower we all know about. It's ridiculous. It's crazy. They can throw the ball all over the field, and Peyton knows just the right amount of times to hand the ball off to Noshawn Moreno for a draw on the shotgun. But he hasn't had the best of luck against good old Tom Brady and Bill Belichick. It seems to be one of his two Achilles heels in the NFL. A, playing in the playoffs, and B, it's Brady. So what we're in for tonight is probably a very exciting game. As Jason Pierre-Paul put it with Dallas and New York playing today, that there's blood is going to be spilled, you could probably expect that tonight between Denver and New England. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be cold. Can that ruin Peyton's arm and his throwing ability? I don't think it's going to ruin it, but it could definitely play an effect. I know Gronk is looking to spike all over the Broncos tonight. It's going to be a bloodbath. It's going to be exciting, and there's definitely going to be a lot of fire between both teams. Not saying it's going to come out and be a 51-48 game. I'm not saying it could be a 20-17 game, but what I do know is Peyton Manning and Tom Brady are coming in with their heads on straight, and their both goals are to come out with a victory. Gronk wants to go and do all of his business on the Broncos, and the Broncos are looking to pass all over the place. And it's some sort of game that no one will ever or should ever want to miss. But that's all the time that we have on this episode of the Tape Deck. For all of us here at 101 Sports, we wish you a happy Thanksgiving and hope you have a great holiday.